And we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our latest session from our very own Microsoft NextGen Heroes. Today, with the topic of how DevSecOps builds strong defenses for cybersecurity, embedding security in DevOps. So, as you all know, tonight we have a special guest with us, a Microsoft MVP, a person who loves tech, and a person who is very into cybersecurity. But before we go on with his introduction, let's take a quick look at our agenda of the day. So basically, we'll have, as per usual, we'll have a short introduction to me and Nicholas. For those of you guys who are new to our first guests on this session, so you'll have the chance to meet us. Then Nicholas will talk some interesting facts about Microsoft Learn, and you'll see how you can join our Microsoft NextGen Heroes community and also our mother community, Microsoft Zero to Hero. Finally, the most interesting part for all of you will be our special guest for today, which will have a nice 30 to 40 minutes talk about cybersecurity and all the best practices that come with it. And not to forget, we'll also say a few words about the next session, which will be next month. So first, some words about me. So hello everyone again. My name is Bojan Ivanovski. I'm currently a third-year student at the University American College in Skopje, Macedonia. I'm studying software engineering. And I'm also a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador together with Nicholas. And we're trying to spread tech vibes everywhere we go, share knowledge, be present on exclusive events from Microsoft, and also create our own events and basically be a part of this amazing Microsoft ecosystem. Some fun facts about me. I'm a DevOps, Azure, and AI lover, so I like to combine all three things at once. And I would say that automation is definitely my playground. Now I would like to give the floor back to Nicholas so that he can make a proper introduction to himself.
Yeah, thank you, Bojan. So hello, everyone. My name is Nicholas, and I'm 21 years old. I'm currently studying data technician, specializing in infrastructure in Denmark. And apart from that, I'm also working as a support consultant at a consulting company. Together with Bojan and Marco, I'm also a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador and also a newly awarded Microsoft MVP in the Intune category as well. So yeah, I use a lot of my free time diving into Microsoft Intune, speak about it at events, but also blog about it as well. So yeah, that's it about me. So let's take a quick look at what Microsoft Learn can do for us. So basically, if you haven't joined our community yet, you can join it on aka.ms/join Zero to Hero. And in that learning room, you can see a team that is called Microsoft NextGen Heroes. That's where we are a part of the learning room as well. And as Bojan has mentioned, we are part of the Microsoft Zero to Hero learning room, where we are currently around 6,000 members in the community. So it's a really great chance for you to get together with other ones, but also get involved in the community and engage with people in the community. It's a really critical part if you want to stay up to date on the newest technology as well. So the only thing you have to do is to fill out the form, and then you will be welcome in the community. And apart from Microsoft Zero to Hero, there is also other learning rooms as well. So if Zero to Hero doesn't fit something for you, then you can find all the other learning rooms by browsing into aka.ms/learning rooms. And also, if you would like to start your learning journey, Microsoft Learn is also a great place to start learn. So for more information, take a look at aka.ms/Microsoft Learn community. So Bojan, now to the introduction of our special guest.
Yeah, so enough of us. I think you have seen us like every session, so till now. But now I would like to invite our special guest Martin to the stage, and he could start with this amazing event. So Martin, the floor is yours.
Guys, thank you a lot for the nice words, first of all. Thank you for the invitation and kudos to the great work that you are doing. So in this community, I have seen all of that LinkedIn posts and all of the sessions that you're doing and all that stuff. So I just want to give you kudos and continue doing that stuff. It really helps to the people, if I may say like that. Sometimes it's really, we cannot notice from this side. I'm counting both of you. Basically, you're three people in the team. The one is missing for now today, but from the other side, sometimes there is a lot of big fans that we are not seeing them usual, but they're following us and just, either it's a shy, either it's a something else. But yeah, in summary, kudos and continue to do a great job, guys.
Thank you, Martin.
Yeah. Yep. I think we can start, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed. Okay. Yeah. Welcome all. Again, tonight we will see one very interesting topic, I'm saying, for this. And it's a quite new topic, if I may call it like that. DevSecOps, which was not the case, if I may call it like that, in the past. And it's quite new in the last 5 years, not even 5 years, 3-4 years. And basically, this is, I want to mention that this presentation, this story tonight, it will be based on true events, on real events. So you will see a real picture from real scenes, what is happening, how he's doing, and where he's going, and all that stuff. Yeah, the topic is called How DevSecOps Builds Strong Defenses for Cybersecurity. And we will go through a couple of topics, if I may call it like that. So yeah, we will see a short introduction from me. We will see, what is the problem, how everything started, how is the planning going, what are the actions and the next steps related to the DevSecOps. So yeah, the first introduction, I think for those who are following me, I'm a Microsoft trainer, Azure MVP. I have more than 20, this year it's my 20 year of experience, if I may call it that. I'm 37 years old and basically working as a current role at my work. I think it's visible in which company on the slide because it's official PPT, which I'm allowed to share, if I may call it like that. And working for ABN AMRO currently in the CISO department in the team DevOps Security. Of course, a proud father and a husband, if I may call it like that. And a lot of hobbies. Most of them it's football, running, and all that stuff, but also a blogger, speaker, drummer, all that stuff. Originally born and raised in Macedonia and currently living and working in Netherlands. And that's me, of course. And basically now we come back to the topic, I would say. And I suppose that now on the next slide, most of you will understand or they will know about these books, if I may call it like that, or maybe they've seen these books somewhere. These two books are one of the, if I may call it like that, one of the most famous DevOps books, which are quite nice for the DevOps engineers. And I have read each of these books 2 times. So they're really nice, good, as I said, on how the DevOps works, how you create that agility, how you need to do the DevOps way of working, the Agile, the Scrum, and all that stuff. So based on all of this, and I fully agree with these books on 95% of this topic, but I have a big problem with this when it comes now for me on the other side in the CISO department, and that is called security. Why I'm saying all of this? Because if we go back in time, usually every time, even in the security side, there was something that there was just 2 topics. The one topic was called application security, and the second one was called infrastructure security. In the meantime, as we all know, and I will come back to the books, everything started a couple of years ago. I think it's almost 9 years as how it started with the DevOps. I think most of us have seen that, know about that, and how that works. And it's quite a new topic, if I may call it like that. We said that we have, in the past, it was only known about application and infrastructure security. So now, after the technologies bring it this new topic called DevOps, we must align also the security side of the DevOps. I mentioned it the previous books, and they're quite good. But if you look at the books, I even have a slide, you will see it shortly, that the books are quite good for the DevOps engineers, but I do not recommend, if I may call it like that, for the security engineers. And why I'm saying all of that? Because it was really less mentioned and less included the security topic and how this DevOps way of working can be protected, secured on a DevOps way of working. So 3.5 years ago, when we started building the team that I'm currently working on, it was quite difficult. That's why I give the previous intro about the application and the infrastructure security, because the DevOps security was quite, if I may call it, unknown subject and topic within any organization. And everyone was saying, we are working on a DevOps, we are working this, we are working pipelines, SaaS, Dust, and all that stuff. But from security perspective was big gap here. And basically, we need to start from somewhere. Sorry. And based on everything said, I'm saying usually we didn't start from zero, but we started from -1. And why I'm saying that? Because the support that we get, even from the previous 2 books about the DevOps, of course, I even checked, and I can be quite precise, that the books are mentioning exactly 20 times the word security in these nice and wonderful books, again, for the DevOps way of working. So what was starting? And basically, it was a lot of discussions, how we need to approach. There is a DevOps way of working. There is a pipelines. There is a planning. There is a Agile, Scrum, this and that. So usually in the big organization, it's quite difficult when you say this type of how it's called, new topics. It takes some time, first of all. And later it becomes a little bit more meetings, discussions, how it should go, how it will go, and all that stuff. So what we started is basically, we started do a planning. We started with discussions, and we really enjoy do a planning instead of in the conference rooms. We usually choose some nice place with a nice food and drinks, if I may call it like that. And then we do a brainstorming, which usually works out perfectly, if I may call it like that, especially if they have a nice food. I can guarantee on that one. So when we start discussing and start working on this topic and building this team within a big organization, as I said, it was quite difficult. But what we have done is that based on our previous experience, we created something that is called a release guideline. For those who are working in the DevOps world, I suppose they have seen these releases, pipelines, CI/CD topic, and all that stuff. We started with the baseline where we connect the 2 dots, and that is called the application and the infrastructure on the CISO perspective. How we connect the dots? Well, basically, we created a release guideline, which it's maintained and used for the platforms. On all of these platforms, now for those who are a little bit more technician and they understand more and they work on this role, they will understand the logic. So we specifically said that we will do on the IaaS, SaaS, and PaaS. What that means? That we will connect whoever wants to build an application on any type of infrastructure. He can use our release guideline, which it will help to him to be precise and to do not miss any security thing. What that means? That means 4A principle. That means approver. That means somebody that will do a commit to the repository, that it's verified or approved by another person. So it's called a 4A principle and all that stuff. So we started doing that, and we noticed that a lot of teams started accepting that. And usually they were quite happy to have this type of a checklist, if I may call it like that, where before any deployment, before when they start building their application, they just go through this checklist, mark as a completed, and they can approve. Basically, the last step is the approve the pipeline to make a deployment to the specific infrastructure in this case. So we started with this simple, and we saw that was a quite positive feedback, first of all, I must be honest. And the teams were reacting quite happy. And they said, yeah, it really was missing this type of a thing where we can focus on these things just to not miss something. Because when you do a deployment, usually it can happen basically in the whole journey, if I may call it that, or through the whole process. It can happen that something can be missed or forgotten from somebody. So usually we use that where, as I said, we connect the dots, the infra and the application teams, where whenever they deploy, it doesn't matter what type of solution they have, either it's a ES, on SaaS or PaaS, basically they can use our release guideline. It's quite similar, by the way, between the platforms, depends how they will deploy. And they can use it and basically do the deployment on their application on specific infrastructure in this case. Once we have done that, and after the positive feedback, basically we started, if I may say like that, again, some brainstorming or planning. How should we do? What should we do? How should we proceed? And all that stuff. And why I'm saying all of that, because usually this is the end phase, for example, the release guideline, and it's the end part where the developers need to deploy their application to some specific place. But what we're missing to us is how everything is starting. And how everything is starting is something that is called a threat modeling. Threat modeling is part of that circle. For those who are maybe now confusing how I'm talking, what I'm talking, at the end, you will see the nice picture, the same like the DevOps, the goal, if I may call it that, we achieved already. So when you design an application, there is a capability called threat modeling. What that means? That means that when you make a diagram of the application, solution design, if I may call it that, so architecture design and all that stuff. Usually when you have this type of a design, you do a threat modeling. And what that means, we usually know to say in our organization that what can go wrong. That's the first question that we ever ask the developers, or what they think it can go wrong. So as you see on the right picture, what are you building is the first of all. These are the, by definition, if I may call it that, what are you building? What can go wrong? What are you doing to defend against the threats? Did you validate the previous steps? And basically at the end, they create a report where what can be improved in that application from security perspective. We started with selecting a specific application. So basically we started with around 60 applications the first year, and the second year with another 60. The main requirement, or how we choose those 120 applications for doing a threat modeling, it's basically based on where is the connection going from those applications. Is it internet or it's intranet? What that means, if the application is completely exposed on the internet, like APIs everywhere and all that stuff. So what we were doing is basically trying to evaluate, if I may call it like that, and create a threats that it can, where something can get wrong. After all of that, after 2 years of a nice journey, if I may call it like that, we're doing a threat modeling, discussing with the teams, with the developers, with the product owners and scrum masters and all that stuff. We figured it out that, there is some gap where we can help to the developers and basically to achieve their goal. But the most important, to secure the organization. That was the main goal, because all of these applications are mostly used from the normal users, from me for, personal banking, bank accounts, transferring money and all that stuff. So usually our goal was to protect carefully and to find really good threats where we can discuss later on with the SOC team, with the monitoring team, and all those other teams where we can protect enough the applications and just to make it more secure, the organization. We said, this is good, and we're doing quite good till one day when we started doing some things, and then we noticed this in the pipeline. This is for those who never worked in the pipeline or they never worked. As you can see, this is usually one of the biggest problem that we have. I think every big organization have with the developers. Usually, instead of using some vault in some of the cloud providers, for example, for us is the Azure Key Vault, they store their secret, their password within the pipeline. And what that means that, everyone that opened this pipeline can see the password. And basically, it can basically expose some things or some confidential data from the organization. And we start thinking, what should we do as a next to improve this? Because this is one of the biggest risk for any organization. Either it's a small, medium, or a big organization. This is one of the, I don't know how to say, but one of the biggest risk, I would say, just risk, and very bad practice, if I may call it like that, which in the past a lot of data breaches has happened on the internet. And I think there was a lot of scenarios where there were exposed data, credentials, user accounts, and all that stuff. And what we start doing as a next step to basically fix this stuff in the pipeline, we went to the officially, the OWASP is about the security best practices, and we started looking at the things. What that means? That means let's look capability by capability and see, for example, how is going with the access control, how is going with the session management, how is going with the data protection, how is going with the error handling and logging, and input validation. So based on all of this, because those are official and I'm calling usually as a starting point for these things, we said, let's take a look and how we can basically fix the things in the pipeline. So to do not use, or the people to not use this type of thing, because on a high level, it's not easy to block this type of a thing, because the developer need to maintain the code, to deploy some things, need to make changes and all that stuff. So usually what we start doing is working on something that is called SAST and DUST. For those who don't know what is SAST and DUST is something that is called static and dynamically application scanning, basically. What these do is, as it says in the picture, what it tests is the source code, the binaries, libraries, analyze the code, and basically the best practice is the same, like on the threat modeling, and the most recommended is to be early in the development to find some issue, to scan, and all of that stuff. Early development, maybe that is the words that I missed, and usually early in development we are calling, and the threat modeling. Early is done early in the development, basically just when you have the design of the application drawn somewhere. Usually it's called a shift left security. That is where everything starts from the left side and then goes to the right side, which is the deployment. After a lot of discussion and the passwords were shared there, we found that a lot of others, by the way, yeah, just to be completely honest. And basically, with using a dust, some of the tools, we started scanning, and basically we saw that a lot of things. Basically, we figured out that there is more gaps than just this one. Going forward to the next topics and how this journey was going. Basically, the next topic that basically it's within the DevSecOps roadmap, if I may call it like that, which we will see later on. It's usually the next after these secure coding practices, where Dust is helping you to do not have this type of issues within your organization. We went to the next step, and that one is called pen testing. While the pen testing, you have 5 stages, and basically that's one capability, by the way, from the whole journey in the DevSecOps. And basically, after we have done alignment and discussion, we figured out that even the threat modeling will help to the pen test to make a easier scope and make a planning about what they need to pen test, what they need to do, how they need to do the analysis. Because usually when you do a threat model, all of this basic data from the solution design, from the architecture view, you can easily scope what you need to do, where you should do the focus, and all that stuff. We easily aligned, if I may call it like that, all of those things. So we started with, as I said, the DevOps security release guideline, which is completely on the shift right, if I may call it like that. But then we took the threat modeling, which is the first capability for starting the shift left strategy on the security side or through the DevSecOps. We went with the secure coding, which exposing the secret in the code and following some of the OWASP best practices. Then we discussed with the Dust guys, which is the next point where they do analysis, they find this and that. And then as a next step, we connected with the pentest people, which we used our threat model and our knowledge on that to basically help to these people and to give the scope where they should focus and what they need to do. After we have done all of that, what was missing a lot on the beginning, but now because we created a clear picture and clear roadmap, if I may call it like that, we were aware that somehow we need to monitor all of that. We completely aligned with the monitoring team, which in our organization we are using the Microsoft ecosystem. So in this case, we aligned completely with the Sentinel team, where they do early detection on a lot of stuff. And the Sentinel is using a lot of monitoring on all the stuff, and you have a lot of connections to any capability that is needed. So usually, the journey that we were following, if I may call it like that, we skipped some of the things on the beginning. Why? Because we wanted to have a clear picture how we should start, how we should end. So basically for us was early detection, shift left with the threat modeling, but we wanted to monitor all of that, if it's really taken care and how that works and what is happening there. After we have aligned all of that, we needed to measure all of that. And I can proudly say that currently, I think within the Europe, we are the only ones that are measuring the DevSecOps mature and how that works. But that is based on a custom base, if I may call it like that. And we are using something that is called DORA. In the Europe, one of the DORA is very famous now. It's called DORA Resilience. But this is another DORA, which is called DevOps Research and Assessment. What is this DORA? This DORA, it's a Google assessment survey, if I may call it like that, where you can play around. It contains all the capabilities within the big organization, like on the DevOps way of working, of course, continuous integration, continuous deployment, source code, and all that stuff. But also they have a security capability. From this morning, I noticed this morning, previously the name of this was called shift left security, but now it's called pervasive security, which basically built security into the software development lifecycle without compromising the delivery speed. Indeed, the idea of the compromising delivery speed, it means the security should not be an additional obstacle for all of that. So once we connect all of these dots, we monitor all of that dots, and we saw where are the gaps, where we can help. Somehow we were missing a couple of things, which we are still working, of course. But when you start from scratch, from zero, -1, sorry, from -1, usually in the big organization takes some time. And these 3 years, I'm happy to say that we are already on the right path. We saw a lot of gaps, a lot of issues. We helped to the DevOps teams and where they should focus about. But on top of that, we are measuring that, and basically we know exactly how and what we need to think about and what should we improve. The DORA capability, for those who never heard about, it's a measurement tool, if I may call it that, how the organization is doing. So what we have done is that we created 10 questions, which the developers are before end of the year, the developer are answering on these questions. But these questions, the tricky part is that what they don't know, of course, is that those 10 questions are completely connected with some capabilities from security perspective in the background. For example, one question is about pen testing, one question is about threat modeling. The questions are not, do you know about threat modeling? Do you know about pen testing? But it's a little bit mixed question where it means, for example, how we can improve. And the answer is not just yes, no, but it's yes, no, suggestion, and all of that stuff. So it's quite customized. And basically, that was our goal. And that is how you can basically collect the informations in the big organization, because sometimes it's really tough to discuss all of that stuff and everyone have work and all that stuff. So with this, we enabled the measurement. With the Sentinel, we enabled the monitoring side. The pen testing, it's done by the other team. And of course, as I said in the beginning, that's a new that maybe I missed. From officially from 1st of May. 1st of May, we are live for the threat modeling. We are using also a tool. That means that there is a big improvement there. And it is risk, which means that the developer can go there, draw their diagram, and basically the tool will recognize all the threats and countermeasures that can help to them to improve their application. In the meantime, and usually I know 3 years is not such a long time. Usually in a big organization, it's quite small amount of time. In the meantime, to achieve all of that, what we have done is that we started doing organization of a conference in the October. There is a cybersecurity month. It's the October, for those who don't know. So usually we have a nice opening and closing summit, it's called. So to motivate the developers, we created something like this. Those are sneakers, basically, where on the left side you wear your development skills or the DevOps skills, but on the right side you're also connecting the dots with the security. So that's how we motivate a little bit, because as I said, now if I go back 20-25 minutes ago when I started talking, that application and the infra security was all the time there. And this was a quite new stuff with a lot of new capabilities, new things, and it needs to be completely aligned. Basically, it was quite a journey, if I may call it like that. And it's still ongoing, by the way, because we are still working. And what we miss in the whole journey are the digital sign, which is part of the encryption, cryptography, if I may call it like that. Our plan is also to implement the security analysis and secure transfer capabilities. And in the middle, you can see the DevSecOps profile. The DevSecOps profile is something that will, based on all of these capabilities mentioned, the threat modeling, secure coding, SAST and DUST, pen testing, monitoring, what we have, the DORA measurement, the digital sign later on, security analysis, and secure transfer, will generate a secure score for any team, and we can know where should we focus, basically, and what should we improve from the security side, and how we can help to those DevOps people, basically, when they build the application. Because I was talking about, we said about DevOps, DevSecOps, and from where these capabilities came from. Maybe some of you are confused. The DevSecOps is coming, basically, is something that it's above the DevOps. So we saw this picture, if I may call it like that. This is the basic one, and this is the DevOps way of working, if I may say like that. But then our DevSecOps look like this. What that means, that above the DevOps way of working, we're using something that is called DevSecOps. And as you can see, this is official DevSecOps roadmap. You can find it on the internet and all that stuff. And basically, as you can see, all these capabilities within. So threat model is the first one, and it's completely aligned with the planning, because the threat model is completely a planning thing. When you do a discussion about your application, where should we deploy it, what type of framework we should use, how we should do that, what should we do that, and all, what type of services, Google cloud providers we should use. It will be AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. So all of those things are part of the planning. So the same is the threat model from security side. When you do a development, there is two things which are called security config and security as a code. So we are calling that secure coding. Sorry. So basically, where these two are into almost one, they're quite different capabilities. But to be easier on the beginning, we are planning, of course, to do a refinement later on. For us, was the main thing was to build this topic, or this type of how it's called, this type of a roadmap on what should we follow, how should we proceed. Because when you present to somebody or to the DevOps teams, usually you need to show them, why we are doing all of that. It's the same like for the threat model, why we are doing that, what can go wrong, and all that stuff. When you do a build phase and the testing phase, as I said, those are parts SAST and DUST, about the scanning, the tests, and all that stuff. Also, before or nearly where is the testing phase, we have the pen testing. And as I said on the previous slide, what we are still missing is the digital sign, which is in the middle, which we are working now with the cryptographic team about aligning and how we can contribute all of those things. And security analysis is next to it. So these two we are working, and this was the goal for 2025, where we should align also these two. For the secure transfer, we have still discussion, which is the last one. But in the meantime, as you can see, after the security analysis, we have the security monitoring, security audit, security patching, scan, secure coding also. And basically, based on all of this, we will create our DevSecOps roadmap within one big organization, if I may call it that. I was saying all the time, a big organization. When I say big organization, I mean around 15,000 people, which 10,000 you have developers, testers, Q&A, and all that stuff. So that's, I mean, with the big organization, which is quite complex sometimes for discussion, alignment, and all of those things. And set everything, all of this, why we are doing all of this, because we think that the security, it's a team sport. And I think security needs to be done together with the developers, or the other way around, the developers to do that together with the security people, where just to do not miss any gap, any issue, and all that stuff. And if there is indeed, I think this is my last slide, indeed. And if there is any questions or anything, I would say anyone feel free to ask, either it in the chat, either unmute if you want, or I don't know what's the possibility. But on total, I mean, that's a one big, maybe it sounds from this perspective, because I usually want to visualize this type of things like pictures. So instead of boring slides, like 55 slides, I can do what we have taken as a step and all of that stuff. This is the summary on how one journey can go. Yeah, a little bit with the lunch, drinks, and all that stuff, and then discussions, and then a little bit work, alignment, and all that stuff. But in total, I think it's a big topic, and if you don't align with the DevSecOps now, I think the big organization especially will struggle with the next step, and that is called AI SecOps, which is quite similar, maybe. There is one or two different. That is called threat detection, which is using the AI to detect all of that via the pipeline. So my advice is for those who are working on DevOps way of working, I'm really happy to hear from anyone also if they do a DevSecOps, what they do and how they do. But if they miss that one, be careful in the next couple of years with the AI SecOps. That is what I can say. And yeah, that's it from my side.
Thank you, Martin, for the amazing 35-minute session that you held. We've collected a lot of questions from the audience. But firstly, I would like to ask you a very interesting question that I thought when you were presenting about threats and AI. So I know that we are at a really interesting crossroads right now because AI is speeding up development like never before, and the security threats are getting even more complex. And we have buzzwords like zero trust, and they're all becoming standard practice. So from your perspective, where do you see DevSecOps heading in the next 5 years?
Yeah, that's quite funny. I think there will be a small transformation here when it comes to the, let me see, is the slide visible? Yeah, I think there will be a small transformation, I see, to be completely honest, in the field of the secure transfer and the security scan. This either will be replaced as a transformation. The last thing, I think last year I was working, also I'm part of the AI ops security, if it means something, AI operations and security working group within our organization. Sorry. So what I see that there will be a big gap. The problem is not that something is missing. Somehow, what I see, it's a lot of people is missing a lot of knowledge. Everyone is copy pasting sensitive data, non-sensitive data. That's a big problem, I must be honest. We have seen that in the big organization, by the way. I can just say yes. And it's quite a bit mature to the people to just Control A, Control C, and then just Control V on the other side without checking resource group, without checking, is there something in this storage? What's the name of the storage? Subscription ID, tenant ID, which we found it quite difficult for now. What we are doing and working, as I said, as a part of the working group for this topic, we are doing also trying to implement a Microsoft Defender for Cloud, which it's using a threat detection. What that means, that immediately can detect if something was leaked or something within the organization. So that's a first step that we are working to align all of that. And what I expect in the next 5 years, I think this will increase for additional circle with a threat detection, threat anomalies, and there was one more that I'm forgetting usually. So these two will be the main ones in the next 5 years. And we as a people, if I'm saying usually, if we don't educate ourselves, we will be struggle after the 5 years, if we may call it. That means from 2031. So I expect to expand these capabilities to additional 3, 4, maybe max, which one of them will be for sure threat detection.
Great.
Okay.
There's there's a lot of great questions in the chat as well. Perhaps I should just read one of them up. So this is the first question. So what are the recommended resources, books, white papers, courses, webinars, blogs, etc. for respective organizations to connect the dots from code to infrastructure? And are there agnostic or a little bit hard work, homogeneous, I cannot say it, but resources available?
Yeah, maybe the first one. As I said 3 years ago when we started, yeah, by the way, I'm saying like that because it was just me and my manager, and we needed to build a team. Now we are currently around 10, 11 people. So we're all working on all of these things. It's growing easily, slower, because there is a lot of work in parallel. When we started, it was really, and it's a really nice question, I must be honest. You're Googling, you're Binging, sorry, as a Microsoft person, Binging. You need to follow some guidance. You need to do that. We get in contact, to be completely honest, with Gartner, which is one of the high level, if I may call it like that, guidance that provides guidance for the big organization and what the industrial people and the white papers are there and all this stuff. So I'm happy to say that we Gartner last October 2023 published a white paper about the DevSecOps and all that stuff. And I'm happy to say, I'm really proud of myself sometimes, that their goal is also to create a DevSecOps profile per each team based on these capabilities, where they will measure all of that stuff. So one of the websites that can provide a lot of guidance based on all of these topics, because it's a little bit, I don't know if it's an English term, also taboo topic. It's not mentioned a lot. Everyone is mentioning, but there you cannot find easily some guidance, but everyone is mentioning about. So I would say Gartner, following Zero Trust, Microsoft also. Microsoft Learn is here. I think both of you, and also the audience that is following you guys, I think is aware of that. Quite a lot of material about. Basically, we can relate that a little bit to the Zero Trust also, because the goal of all of this is to become a Zero Trust, let's be honest. But yeah, those are the two main, if I may call it like that. So Gartner and Microsoft Learn, in my view, or what I was using as a best practices, and to implement all of this that I said.
Great.
Yeah,
There's a lot of questions.
Yeah. I don't know where to start, but let's go on. So we have another question. In the threat modeling phase, how is it possible to prepare for future zero-day vulnerabilities that are unknown at the time of threat modeling?
Yeah, that's why that's a very tricky question, and that's came 2 years ago to me as an experienced guy, and two developers approached to me and said, "Martin, how is this possible even?" So I have I turned it around the question, if I may call it like that. I'm not building the application. You guys are building application, and I can help you to improve the secure side. I think you as a developers need to know where is the gap while you build the application. I can recognize what you're missing from security best practices, but you can give intro, yeah, we are not using this and all of that, because we, from security side, I'm quite aware also in the previous experience as a DevOps engineer, I'm aware what the developers are facing, pressure, deployment, this need to be modified, adjusted, then commit that, then somebody will approve faster and all of that things. So there is a lot of things that are happening at the same time, and sometimes it's happened to miss some of the things. Either it's us, either it's the developers, if I may call it like that. But when it comes to this thing, usually, first of all, you turn around what the developers are building or what the guys are building there. And then we from security review if you are guys missing something. And then basically that's how we recognize. For those that are still not published officially, as I said, there is a lot for those, yeah, maybe it will sound a little bit selfish, but I can share what I use. Yeah, I'm using the Microsoft Defender, because Microsoft Defender, it's using below, you can see the most famous threats, the latest, and what are the latest updates of the vulnerabilities, also how they can be fixed, and all of those things. So yeah, first of all, discussion with the developer and are they using the best practices. Second, I would recommend, for me as a relevant source, is a Microsoft Defender, where it contains all of the latest threats and all of those stuff.
Yeah. So next question: where is the official source for finding SAST and DAST guidelines?
Yeah, for SAST and DAST, usually I was using OWASP, so they can choose. There is also an open source tool, if I may call it that. Some of them, yeah, Fortify, SonarQube, and all of these things that can help for a SAST and DAST.
Next question: could you please show how to access the DORA assessment forms?
Yeah, the DORA, you can open dora.dev in your browser, and then you can open and see all of the capabilities.
Great. There is the next one after this one as well. Where will the DevSecOps conference be held?
DevSecOps conference. I don't know where it will be the next DevSecOps conference. We can organize, I think, but if it means about what I shared with the sneakers and all the stuff, that was within the organization. As I said, we are around 20,000 people, I think, in total, but 10,000 are developers, quality assurance people, DevOps engineers, product owners, and all that stuff. So this is how to say, held within the organization by us from the CISO DevOps Security, where we organize the speakers and all that stuff. And also, yeah, it's a good one. For example, in the big organization, it's good also usually to face with the people that you have them already there. So what was our approach? We discussed with them, with the AI team, with, for example, Power Platform team, who was all there? API team. Those are developers. They are not CISO. We don't have so many people in CISO, by the way. So those are developers. We sit them with them, discuss, and they said it's a good idea. Let's prepare something. You can guys discuss. Yeah, we were preparing 2-3 months, by the way. It was not done just in 10 days. Let's organize a conference. But we wanted to show really value where, for example, what is going wrong with the API security, where we see the gap. Power Platform is also, for those who never use, it's complete a SaaS solution. So you don't have the server to press down and all the stuff. It's completely cloud-based like Azure, but in a different portal. With the AI now, we see the same AI Foundry and all that stuff. It's completely different portal. So all of those, basically, we sit together with some of these product owners. We explain what is our goal, what we want to achieve. And basically, that's how we created this DevSecOps conference within the organization for around, we have around 200 and something people.
Yeah, so it was an internal conference, right?
Yeah. To motivate the developers. Otherwise, you cannot motivate 10,000 people so easily.
Great choice. There's also another one. When hiring for a DevSecOps role, what considerations should a technical recruiter take into account to ensure they pick the right candidate among applicants and avoid any skill gaps?
That's a quite difficult. I was holding in the last 2 years, maybe it's a one personal record, 173 interviews I have been done in the last 2 years. So it's quite difficult to explain to the other side, but when it comes to the security, I'm usually saying it's a mindset, first of all, and the knowledge comes after that. So if you don't have the mindset to think how we can get rich tomorrow, and that is my question usually even now when I do a threat modeling with some application, for example, in the payment department, it doesn't matter even if I have a PhD, even if I'm, master of, some technology and all that stuff. My first question to the product owner on the payment system, some payment system within the organization, how we can become rich from tomorrow. So does your developer have an admin access, for example? Yeah, he has. Can he modify some of the transactions? Well, I think he can. And then, immediately it's becoming a nice discussion. Hey, that's a nice idea, this, that, on some nice way. But it's sometimes I'm usually saying it's not about what technical and all that stuff. First is the mindset, and then I think this is a free promotion, Boyan and Nicholas. Microsoft Learn, it can help you guys a lot. I mean, to anyone that is willing to learn, also for the DevOps, also for Azure. For example, in my organization, we use specifically Microsoft ecosystem, as I said, but there is also, I think, for the others, cloud providers, I suppose they have something, I'm not sure. But for the Microsoft ecosystem, if the people are using, focus on the DevOps guidance, check what are the security best practices within that, because all the DevOps guidance, also there is a learning path within Microsoft Learn, so you can go through there and all that stuff. And this is not a free promotion, if I may call it like that, on Microsoft, but it's my, how to explain, as a Microsoft trainer, DevOps person, DevSecOps person, it's really on a daily level I'm using, even when I need to search, it's a Microsoft Learn, because that's the source of truth I'm saying, because you can find all the needed informations. Well, basically for me, especially for people, again, that use Microsoft ecosystem, I would go with the Microsoft Learn. So what to do not miss? The DevOps skills are mostly cloud skills. There is quite a lot of capabilities, and it's quite tough to define what exactly technical, this and that, but maybe of the latest one, pipeline security, API security, cloud security, Microsoft Defender, maybe if the company is using. So those are first 4 capabilities. But again, the 5th one, and I think is the first one, it's a security mindset.
I think, it's, you're saying Microsoft Learn, but also community content, right? People that are doing blogs, MVPs, people that want to contribute to the community is also a really important source, right? Because sometimes content on Microsoft Learn can be a little bit tricky to understand for some people.
True.
So it's definitely also an important source as well.
Yeah, and I fully agree with you, Nicholas, but you need, when you start from nothing, you must follow some guidance. It doesn't matter how much complicated, if you find what you would like to follow, if I may call like that. For example, I'm usually saying, take a look at some cars model, for example, Volvo, or the Nike sneakers, the movie, I suppose, Air, how was the name? Air, I think. Maybe you will remember, maybe not, how they made it, the sneakers for Jordan. They draw it on the paper, and then they design it and put in the machine to build the sneaker, the real sneaker. So I want to say, use the Microsoft Learn as a, as a draw where you should go and all that stuff, and then just go capability by capability and find the resources that are needed.
So I think the last question for tonight. So for some industries we have with highly competitive environments, certain teams within an organization often push other teams to move faster, which can potentially bypass security checkpoints. Some people may even pressure the DevSecOps team to accusing them of slowing down the process. How should DevSecOps professional handle such situations? I mean, security is always the slow process, right?
And it's still, and that is what we try also in our site is the same. I must be honest. We 3 years ago, it's really a nice question, and just imagine when you are nowhere, because again, if I go back to the beginning of the story, it's always application and infra security, and now some new people are coming there dancing, hey, we are DevOps, DevSecOps, la la la, and all that stuff. Usually it goes quite difficult on the beginning, but usually with a lot of meetings, going on coffee with the people, I would highly recommend to just discuss with them that security is not here to make problems, but to help you guys, because usually I'm saying, it happened to another companies, by the way, there was a data exposed, there was this, there was that, and all of that stuff. I think last year was also a lot of attacks to Microsoft also, and one parking application also, if I may call it that. So a lot of data was leaked on the internet and all that stuff. And then the developers, hey, we have a threat model? We think we forgot maybe something, so you can check. They get instantly afraid a little bit, maybe if they forget. But just I'm saying how they should handle, easy, calm down, how we can help you. Not how we can make problems, but how we can help you first. Because CISO department usually can be a big problem for some things, because they see that these people see a lot of risks there, and the other people say, no, it's a deployment, Azure, it goes there, you don't need to worry, and all that stuff. So yeah, I would say coffee, nice discussion, and the first question is how we can help you, not how we can make a problems.
Well, there is another question. I think that this will be the last one. So how important is development / programming for DevOps or / DevSecOps? How can we use these latter two terms interchangeably?
Yeah, well, it's a development programming for DevOps, DevSecOps. Yeah, I think programming is not a real term for now. I would say development is the one main used everywhere, if I may call it like that. How we can use, secure coding. In security side, it's secure coding. On the other side, it's development. Maybe that's the needed, the opposite from the development. On our side in the CISO, it's called secure coding. So I would say, DevOps, development, secure coding, DevSecOps.
Yeah, so I think that's the end of the discussion for today. Martin,
Okay.
if you have some last words to say for the public and also for us, please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. I have a 30 seconds just to share with all of you. It was my pleasure to be part of this. Thank you one more time, Bojan, Niklas. Thank you for the people that will watch or they are watching now. And usually what I'm saying, keep learning. For me, it's Microsoft Learn, because I'm traveling either with the bicycle or with the train. Usually MS Learn can be open on the mobile. So I'm just, what is the latest one and all that stuff. I'm using also ChatGPT, but of course. But I want to say that for learning and to read something new, what is happening, because every day it has something new and we cannot know everything. I would recommend to everyone, continue learning, continue improving yourself. I think that's the best thing that you can do for yourself.
Yeah, great advice.
That's inspiring, definitely.
Thank you.
Okay, so just before we end the session, I'll just quickly share my screen so that we can say a proper goodbye also from our side. As you see on the screen, our next session is on the 14th of May. We're not uncovering this session yet. It will be really, really amazing. So we are preparing something very special for all of you, and I hope that we'll have also an amazing Q&A session like this one on our next event. So thank you all again for this amazing number of participants that we have on this session, and also for the engagement, and see you on our next event, which will be on the 14th of May. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye.
Yeah, have a great day, everyone.
Have a great day.